Okay, great. So, hello everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm so excited to be doing this. It kind of came up on a whim. I am Bree Barnes, and my Instagram handles it's me, Bree Barnes, and I'm here with Chelsea Hernandez, and we are both
Hi.
in digital marketing. Met earlier this morning for the first time, so talk about anything we're going to discuss today. We were both too excited and we knew we'd get carried away and we would just start talking. So we kept it
Mm.
all for this conversation, but we're basically here today because I saw on Rochelle's Instagram that Chelsea made $20,000 in 2 months, and I was so excited for her. That's amazing. And I wanted to learn more. What are you doing? So if you're here tonight, you're probably also in digital marketing or interested in it and curious to learn how Chelsea made all that money. So I will do a quick introduction. I've been in digital marketing for 8 weeks, I believe. I have a counter on my Google and it's like 67 days. And so I'm somewhere around under 70 days. And I have around, I'm not a details person, so I don't pay attention. I think I have around 500 followers. I have generated 55 leads and I sell DWA, which if you are new to digital marketing, that's Digital Wealth Academy. And I bought it from Rochelle Olivia, who has connected both Chelsea and I. So we're both in her Slack community. And I'll pass it over to you, Chelsea, if you want to just tell me a little bit about how you got started and when you started digital marketing and who you bought DWA from.
Definitely. So I got into digital marketing actually from Rochelle in the sense that I came across her page when she only had like, I think 1,000 followers at the time. This was like a long time ago.
One
I was
time
very,
14 months ago.
that to me, that's a long time
It's a
to be
long
waiting
time.
on it
Yeah.
because I waited 7 months and watched her progress before I purchased. That's
Um,
how adamant I was about, I
okay.
really want to make sure that I'm doing
Yes.
the right thing.
But pause. By the time she was 7 months in, she had made
Yes.
$250,000. So what's your reaction? Oh my God, why didn't I start sooner? Or you were just like,
No, I think because of the type of person that I am, it definitely wasn't beating myself up. I told myself that that is what I was going to do. That I saw this girl who had maybe 1,000 followers at the time, and I'm Christian. So I was like, I really want to pray about this. I really want God to reveal to me if this is something that I need to do. And I just really felt that that time was needed in
yeah,
general. I was pregnant at the time and working, and I had been in the industry that I've been working in for gosh 13 14 years. I was comfortable, I was making really good money, and so I was totally content, as weird as that sounds, but at the
yeah,
same time very intrigued
yeah.
and interested that it was possible for somebody to make this much money so quickly. And it was, so that's how I even stumbled upon it. And then I got started because I reached out to her even back then. And I was just like, can you share with me information? And she was so kind. I think anybody who knows Rochelle just knows that she is the sweetest person.
So
And
sweet.
she's very much informative. If you ask, she's going to tell you. I appreciated that too. I appreciated her directness. I appreciated the kindness and all of that. And that ultimately just, of course, the money aspect by far was just incredible to me that someone could quit their 9 to 5, have
Yeah.
freedom, and just live a life that wasn't tied to a 9 to 5 job. Because, at least in my generation, that's exactly what was shown. And it seemed a little strange that, oh, we can just make money online. That's so weird. That's a little bit of how I got started. And then I purchased from Rochelle as well after maybe it was a little over 7 months. I bought it in
Okay,
last
before.
June, right at the end. It was like basically the beginning of June. And so then that's when I got started. Oh no, I was just gonna say, and to clarify, because I know it might sound weird, 20K in 2 months being January, February. That was when I first started. And
Oh,
I did that for about a month and a half and made around, what did I say earlier? 5K. And
yeah.
then from there, I had a really big medical, unfortunately, diagnosis. And I was also pregnant at the time. So I took a big step away. I was really diagnosed with breast cancer. I had to go through surgery and obviously have my baby as well, make sure that I was safe and she was safe. and took that step away for 5
Yeah.
months.
Was it hard to
Yeah.
step away, or that was easy? You were just like, drop it.
No, that was totally easy.
Yeah.
Because at the time, it was more of, well, I'm just doing this to have some extra income. It wasn't,
Your primary goal or
I
focus.
still had my job. And so I was like, oh, I'm still secure. And I don't want to say I didn't take it seriously because I did, but it was just a less important option to me. I
For
really felt that my
health of
health
your
and my daughter's,
baby and and
Mhm.
now how old's your daughter?
She is 6 months. She
Oh,
just turned
that's
6
so
months.
sweet. So you're doing this digital marketing as a mom who
Mhm.
is working. You weren't working at the time.
Was. I was working at the time. It was right before I went on maternity leave. And then I went on maternity leave in August.
Mhm.
And then I also had my surgery after I had her. And during that time, I actually got laid off from my job. They gave me a 60-day notice because in California, there is something called the Warren Act. So it does protect you and they have to still pay you for
Okay.
60 days. So even though I was on leave, I still was getting paid through my job under the Warren Act. And so
Mm,
I got that. I had until I think it was end of November and was like technically my last day.
the end of November of 2024.
Yes.
So at that point, and she doesn't have just one child, she has three and one on the way. Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you.
So you're busy. So when you got laid off, when did you
Mhm.
decide to pivot towards making this your thing full time? Or were you all in, or were you I'll still see how it goes? What was your reasoning?
Yeah, I was still in recovery, so I didn't really think much about it, if I'm being honest. And I actually, on a side note, I do journaling and I have like my own Instagram, and there's like a whole community around journaling and things like that. And
Cool.
so one of the things I've always wanted to do was YouTube. And so I was like, I started it a year prior and did some videos here and there, but it was just more of a hobby. And then when I was home a lot because of having my baby and then in recovery, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna just do some journaling videos, overhead shot with just my hands. And I didn't think,
Oh,
yeah.
that's your hands on your YouTube?
So I
I
did
thought
some
maybe that was
journaling videos.
AI.
Oh, no, 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 that is me. So I started doing these journaling videos and I had the thought, I started in November. I had the thought in later December, and I just thought, wow, there's so many people in this industry, the journaling community and industry, that are small business owners. We have sticker shop owners, we have journaling owners like that have created and have a successful small business. And I was like, oh, maybe if I incorporate digital marketing, this could help other people in this community. And it was kind of a whim, but I was still very strategic in it and how I wanted to present digital marketing.
Yeah,
And so I incorporated it into journaling. And that
that.
was around January, and it just took off. I
That's
had like
amazing.
maybe a couple hundred subscribers at first.
To your
And
journaling channel or
to my journaling channel, yes,
only
on
a couple
YouTube,
hundred? So you didn't
a
start
couple
with a large
hundred.
following.
No.
And how long
And
have
it's
you been posting?
a couple weeks.
Oh,
I started in November, and by December, it was like it skyrocketed. And
following DWA strategies.
I
Oh,
was incorporating a lot of my own knowledge as well. And that's actually
okay.
what I like to teach in my mentorship program is those kind of tips and tricks based off of, because YouTube is a little interesting and definitely
Bit?
different than Instagram for sure.
Oh,
And it can be a little bit harder in the context of people can't just reach you in YouTube.
oh.
There's no way to DM you. There's no way.
I've heard this
No,
about
it's
TikTok
actually,
too. It's a little
yeah.
different in that sense. You can't put your link in your bio or something like that. I'm not.
Yeah, it was very much a lot of people just signed up without communicating to me.
Wow.
It's almost like they were looking for it because
Oh,
it was within a week of my first video, I had over 200 leads. Nobody had even talked to me. They were just going off of my video.
oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And I was having like
Wild. So
thousands
you had
of
a good
views.
hook and a good caption on this.
I definitely did.
How many videos now do you post on YouTube, and how is that a part of your strategy as well as Instagram?
So I actually stopped because I was pivoting towards Instagram because what I was getting was an influx of messages on my journaling Instagram. And I couldn't keep up. It was like so much because I also have established friendships and a community in the journaling community. So it was, at least for me, I felt like it was very difficult to navigate who was interested in digital marketing along with my journaling.
Yeah.
And so that was the reason why I started Instagram. And I actually took a break to map out future YouTube, which is coming this month.
Oh,
But I took a month off to
figure out
collect
how you're going to
myself.
run your business because that's
Like
a lot
collect
of
it.
people coming at you at once, a lot of money,
Oh,
nice, but also
yes, it
like
was
you weren't ready to scale. So now what?
I just wasn't prepared.
Yeah.
I never in a million years thought that it would be that quick in January with only posting two digital marketing videos and
Are those the only two
only
you
two.
have?
Yeah, for digital marketing, yes.
Instagram Live just gave us balloons for this. Oh my gosh. And I watched both
Yeah,
of them and they were really good. And I was like, oh, I could do something like
yeah,
this. But
yeah,
wow, Instagram isn't faceless, which is good to know for all
yeah,
faceless accounts. The YouTube videos were faceless, which is super cool. That
definitely.
awesome. So where do we go from here? Okay, so we talked about your journey a little bit.
Yes.
Now we are going to talk a little bit about your strategy. So, what would
Mhm.
be some of your top advice for someone starting out in digital marketing, or even someone like me who's been in it just as long as you, 8 weeks, and
Yeah.
is just starting to gain some traction?
Advice. I would say best thing is think about who you are and out and be okay to go outside of the box. I don't think that's said enough. Even
Yeah.
in the course, I think that there's so much information on how to do things and things that work, and I totally agree with them.
Yeah.
And I'm not dismissing that by
Yeah.
any means because I did apply that. But I don't think that I would be in the position that I'm in if I didn't take the risk for going into a niche that I already enjoyed. I was already
Yeah.
a part of this community. And I just thought, why do I have to single it to one thing?
Yeah.
And this could really help and benefit so many people that I already knew. And that would be like from that, I'm going into the next part of advice I would say is don't be afraid to reach out to people that, I'm not saying don't send cold messages. That's not,
Yeah.
we're not saying like be a person to try to sell and just make money that way. But I ended up finding out that there were so many people in my life actually very interested in
Uh,
just the fact of financial freedom
yeah.
and the information alone. So those are the two things I would say that just aren't said enough. I could give you advice that everybody talks about, but those
I
were
think
like really
that's
big
really
things.
good. Your first point about not boxing yourself in is huge. If you follow Amanda Francis, but she's all
Mhm.
about wealth and digital products, and
Yeah.
you are your niche. If you love 10 things and doesn't confuse you, then you don't need a really narrow niche. All those things and all those places and be successful. So I like
Yeah.
approach too. And then for your second point about selling to people, I actually, my first two DWA sales have been to people I know. And as an entrepreneur, I went to school for business entrepreneurship. I've helped build tech company after tech company and small
Yeah.
businesses throughout the last 15 years. And what I can say from that experience is that every single business needs this skill set. And
Mm.
my husband's running a couple startups and they don't have an online presence that's super strong. So they need this. They need the Instagram
Yeah.
growth. They need to get out there. They need to build brand awareness. They have physical products, but they could potentially have digital products. Who knows? I was
Mhm.
just talking to my
Yeah.
friend who runs a law firm today too. And it's like they could do lead generation. They could educate other lawyers. They could do
Mhm.
a million things with digital products. So it's cool
Yeah.
to be a part of this because I feel like people don't quite understand it since they're not in it. And then once they're
Mhm.
in it, you see what it could mean for them.
I was to that point, I definitely felt like when I did take the course that I had to be something very specific, which is
Mhm.
understandable, right? Because it does work.
Yeah.
But I will say that after a lot of prayer on my end, and God revealing to me just different things that I could use and different hobbies and interests that I
Yeah.
have. You just go with that. I think that it really does benefit, and it also makes you stand out, right? I don't know anybody else in digital marketing that has helped journaling people or like
Journaling
yourself and things
entrepreneurs.
like this. So
Yeah,
I just
that's
that's
huge. Former hairstylists,
mhm,
former, a bunch of
yeah,
coming from all different walks of life. And it's
yeah,
really cool to see them take this and apply that to it and make that
mhm,
their thing. And obviously they stand out. So
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Next question. It is 5:25 also, because we were like, we're gonna get carried away and just like whole time and not get through anything. But next question. What does your daily routine or workflow look like? And I know you're revamping your strategy. So what did it look like the last 8 weeks, and what do you hope it'll look like in the future?
Funny enough, as much of a routine person that I am, I don't necessarily have one. And
Yeah.
I think that's because I am still trying to get a lot of footing with my daughter.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
But
You have a baby.
and well, we also our other two children, we co-parent. So
Oh,
we have them one week and then we don't have them the next week.
yes.
So there's a lot of moving parts.
Very.
Like when our kids are here, it's a little bit different. But I will say that I always carve out time, at least an hour to 2 hours a day, in the sense that I'm engaging, reaching out to people, communicating, connecting, and things like that. Every Sunday, I shouldn't say every, actually
So,
Monday. I switch it to Monday is when I map out I pre-prep my content, I guess I can
okay,
say.
cool.
And
So you
so,
content. And did it take you a
yes.
while to figure that out?
No, but I think because of YouTube that helped
Okay.
me, 'cause I'm so used to long form
Yeah.
content that short form content seemed to be a little bit easier. It didn't take as
7 seconds.
and I got really comfortable filming my just everyday life because at
Yeah.
first, when I started back last year, I actually did faceless and because
Oh,
I was uncomfortable in my body and I just kind of kept thinking too much about what people would think.
yeah.
And I think it really hindered me because I think this
Yeah.
time around it's so much easier and more natural for me to just be like, I'm a mom, my house is a mess,
Yes.
and my hair is a mess. I don't
Here
care.
I am. I felt that way too. And one of the reasons I chose to resell the course, and I have a million business ideas. I could have gone in any direction, but I was like, if I resell the course and face forward, I'm going to face my biggest fears and my greatest
Mm,
challenges. And if I can do that, then I can apply this to anything. I can
yeah.
a faceless product account soon or something
Yeah.
else. You really, the personal growth, I don't know if you felt it, but I have felt
Yeah.
it massively. And every day I'm having epiphanies, being
Yeah.
faced with like, challenges. And first, I'm pretty open about this. The first 6 weeks, I was like, super depressed and trying to
Mm,
pull myself out of it and miserable. Frankly,
yeah.
like crying every
Yeah.
night, having to create reels and stories, but if I was going to show up like it was my job, because the other option would be to doom scroll on LinkedIn and apply for jobs I don't
Yeah.
want. And it's like, here's which
Yeah,
one you want.
for sure.
So that's your daily workflow. What about, do you ever see mistakes that digital marketers are making, or maybe things that you would avoid to do in the beginning or could avoid next time if you were to start over?
Trying to think. I don't know that I'm sure there are things that I see, but I think they're happy mistakes. I don't know. I'm very much a person who likes to learn from her mistakes all the time. So, because my personality, well, I should say actually how I grew up was very much like I made mistakes. And in the sense that it was a little bit of an extreme. So I tend to beat myself up all the time. And that's the
Yeah.
biggest, we're saying, challenge for you. That is a big challenge for me is that even the success that I success, because success could be measured in so many different ways, but I still feel like I'm not doing enough or I'm making mistakes and posting reels because I've never gone viral on Instagram. I'm very thankful that my YouTube videos have gotten and stuff like that, but
Yeah.
I've never gone viral on Instagram and I'm still getting my footing with Instagram.
Yeah.
So I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, the only real mistake I would say is people being pretty narrow minded about it.
Yeah.
Just think that broaden yourself and don't be afraid to be who
Try
you
it.
are. And like, it's totally okay because as much as I tell myself I'm making mistakes, at the same time, what am I going
Yeah.
to do differently?
It's
I'm
kind of
gonna,
like Richard's first few modules in DWA. He's like, oh, you made a mistake. You failed. Good. What'd you learn?
yeah,
Good. Great. that your idea flopped. That's awesome. No one responded. Cool. What are you going to do different? You gives you an opportunity to constantly learn and grow.
I think I would actually, now that we're talking about it, one thing that I will say, I think people quit too soon. And I know that, and I don't know if that's like classified
That's
technically
reassuring
as
for a
like a
lot of us
mistake.
in the
Yeah.
beginning who are like, when it happened, it's been 6
Yeah.
weeks. I've been posting every day. I'm working so hard. And it's like, what am
I
I
mean, my
missing?
first time, it was like a month and a half and nowhere to where I am now. It was at 5,000. And that's not to say that that is bad or I'm mocking myself. I'm just
No,
meaning
yeah.
that it's a completely different where now. And so I would say that
And I
quitting or stopping too soon.
soon. And it seems
Yeah.
like it's the type of thing where the momentum builds. I've
Yeah.
slowly seen signs throughout the last 8 weeks that I'm headed in the right direction. And all of
Yes.
us bring different skills to the table. And I have to work harder on my messaging than other people do because it's not my forte. Editing videos has been frustrating, but I'm trying to hack making easy 7-second reels. So I don't have to edit a lot. Doing things like that.
Yeah.
Leverage things you're good at and work around things you're not so that you're not banging your head on the computer every day. And then you said you found yourself in like the other day, I was realizing that I was working so much, 10 to 12 hours a day, just spinning my wheels, trying to do everything. And I'm like, that's not the goal of this. The goal is to work less and earn more. And I remember the DWA module that was like, as if, or maybe it's in stress-free sales. I also follow Morgan, Alexis. They're like, act as if you already are where you want to be. And if I were making a lot of money, I would spend my days with my daughter. I would work out at the gym leisurely in the morning.
Yeah.
I would make salad for lunch because I had the time. You don't run acting all frantic and your energy's chaotic when you want to be grounded. That's what drew me to Rochelle. She's so grounded, and something about her Instagram presence is at peace and just present, and it just feels different than a lot of pages out there. And I think about her. So we can be that.
Yes, you definitely am.
Awesome. So now we're going to jump into like monetization and sales psychology. Do you feel like you attract buyers instead of just followers, or how do you feel like you sit there?
I think it's a little
You only have,
interesting.
right? 700.
Yes. So I think the interesting part of my journey is definitely the YouTube aspect, because in that sense, I have attracted a lot of buyers from that. And
do you have
so
do those buyers necessarily follow you on YouTube?
subscribe to me.
They do
Yes,
subscribe.
from what I've seen, because I don't get to see everybody you subscribe to, which is like, that's why it's so interesting to me that the success, I guess,
There's not as much interaction
like
on YouTube.
you don't know, and the engagement is slim to none. And so it's very interesting that it almost felt like, and still feels that way, is that people who are on YouTube are searching. You have to search for specific things to find it. So I'm already reaching people on this platform, it seems, and based off of the research I've done and stuff like that, is that these people are just ready. I'm hitting people and I'm reaching people that are ready to get there. They've seen it on Instagram already, or they're already seeing other videos from people on YouTube, and they're like, this is the last video, and it just happened to be me or my content. That, and I'm not trying to say it's a luck factor either, because I do think I know I'm being strategic in this sense. But and then the people that have reached out to me from my journaling or things like that, I do find that they don't end up following me on Instagram, which is fine. But
because maybe they don't want to be bombarded by the constant talk about it or something.
Especially if they've already purchased. At that point, we're interacting through if they buy the mentorship or things like that. But I would say definitely on YouTube. On Instagram, I would say about 20% so far that I've seen, I feel like, as buyers. And I just think that's how it starts off, because a lot of the time the beginning is very much supportive. And so it's just other digital marketers who are here to support. And so I kind of knew that from the beginning. So it
Yeah.
doesn't really surprise me,
I
but
guess
I
that's
just
one
think
thing
over
that
time,
surprises a lot of people though when they start.
yeah,
Oh, whoa, hey, I'm new to digital marketing, and so are all of you 5 million people.
yeah,
Well, not 5 million, but there's a lot.
yeah,
But grand scheme of things, of 1 billion users on Instagram, it's nothing. So
yeah,
keep that in mind if you're just starting out too. Uh,
yeah.
what do you feel? Do you feel like social proof plays a lot in sales? Do you share your income claims, and do you share screenshots of like testimonials?
I don't share testimonials. I like to in the future and have thought about it. I felt like with the first time I went around, testimonials didn't really like nobody asked for like proof from
Mhm.
people. Like it
Interesting.
was just kind of my own experience, I think, the
Yeah,
first time around. And most of the time, people who were following me were interested in my journey
your
specifically.
story. Yeah.
Yeah, so I find testimonials, but I do share, all aspects, and I do think that that plays a big role. But even then, personally, I think it's like 50-50, if I'm being completely honest,
Yeah.
because even with the success, again, success had, it's very much like people are still skeptical. And, I see a lot of like silent followers, I see a lot of people signing up for my and
Yes.
downloading it and just watching from the sidelines even after they continue to see they've been following for 2 months and like I've never heard of them even if I've reached out. And so yeah, to me I personally think it's like a 50-50. I do think it's good to share for any new people and you can have all results
Yeah.
highlights. I do think
Yeah.
that's beneficial, but yeah, I don't know if it necessarily plays like at
A
least
huge
my
role.
journey, like a huge
Yeah.
in that. I would say connection is like the biggest thing, connecting with people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I get 50 for me too, because YouTube, no, but on Instagram,
Yeah.
connection seems to be the big thing.
Can you tell the
But
difference between how many sales you've made through Instagram versus YouTube?
not so much now. Yeah, and the be could because like I only had Instagram for like a
Yeah.
week. Yeah, like so now Instagram, it's been I think I'm on week 4. So
Okay.
it's a rookie. Like I
Yeah.
can't say, but I would say like at least started out, yeah, from YouTube.
Wow.
And then yeah,
Okay, so
definitely.
you're currently running your journaling Instagram, your digital marketing Instagram, and your combined YouTube channel, which will be 2 separate soon. That's a lot. So how much content are you putting out on a daily basis? One of our followers wants to know. They were like asking in live.
Yes, I think I mentioned it earlier. I've taken a break from YouTube. At the time when I was only doing YouTube, I was posting 3 times a week. Now
Oh,
I am a stay-at-home mom. Long form, yeah, between I would like 10 to 20, 30 minutes.
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what's your
And
YouTube so they can all go look?
oh, it's called Be the Happy
Turtle. So you guys can check it out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's in link to I don't know who is mentioned. It's in my link though on my Instagram page as well.
Okay.
So you
Wait.
could go in there and find it that way too. But yeah, so now content is I consistently post on Instagram just once a day. My experience Instagram in the beginning when I was trying the 3 posts a day just didn't work for me. I
Yeah.
was getting burnt out and I actually saw more success with posting once a day at a good time than I
Work
did with the
less, earn
3.
more.
Yes. I think the key definitely is consistency, but I'm knocking the 3
Yeah.
reels a day. I just personally couldn't do it. It was so
Yeah, it's a
exhausting.
lot.
Yeah,
I think
I
I did it
couldn't
for 2 days.
stay consistent. Well,
Yeah.
I couldn't stay consistent. And so
Yeah.
then I just wanted to give up and I was like, well, I'm not doing that.
That
But
makes
yes, I post a reel every day and then I post on my stories every day. And for March, I am prepping for more long form content, but I will only be posting on YouTube once a week. Just I need to cut it back down because I think between the two, I want to really find a good balance.
Yeah. And I think it's
Yeah.
important to remember that like whatever you do is just being consistent, and they adjust and
Yeah.
do what best for you, because that's what's best in the long run.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh
Sometimes I'm like, what does Instagram even do with its algorithm sometimes?
I know it drove like the first, like, okay, so posting my first reel got 1,200 views, and I was like, wow, this is great. And then I was
Oh,
like, Rochelle,
nice.
is this normal? She's like, no. And then I had a couple more and they were like a couple hundred. And then
Yeah.
I had another 1500 and a couple hundred, another 1500. And then I was like, what's
Hmm.
going on? And then I changed my bio and like everything crashed. And I thought I would have to start like a new because I like destroyed
Oh
the
no.
or something, but reassured me, just keep going, just trust the process. And it might
Mm.
have been like my content wasn't good instead of like
Mm.
Instagram jail, because once I
Sure.
got the hang of it, things picked up again. And I think, for me, like when I reel that I went viral with, well, it's at like 100,000 views.
Mm.
And so they said like I'm 39 and not ashamed to admit. And then I said all these crazy things about my life. So people are reading that because it's pretty interesting. But
Yeah.
know, just being authentic and being myself. And that might have been the first time I've done that on this page. So it was like, well, that makes sense. People want real, they want authentic, they want to
Hmm.
know that your house isn't clean and that your kids are safe
Yeah.
and that you yelled at them yesterday. Like, whoops.
Yep. True.
It's good to see that. But yeah, I think that people relate to a lot. So in your
Yeah,
YouTube
definitely.
content, do you feel like
Yeah.
you can show up that way, or how do you feel like it comes across in your video?
Yeah, with YouTube, I think I mean, a pretty vulnerable post on this well. I share about a miscarriage that I went through and I wrote a letter to my baby. So, yeah, I'm I should try. I try to be very open and honest and
Yeah.
share who I am as a person. I don't need to maybe like in my content, I don't show what's going on. Like I'm not sharing like
Okay.
those things,
Because you said you
but
do like the hand thing, right?
yeah, so like if I can kind of show you. Like,
That's interesting.
so this is like one of my journals,
Oh,
and
that's pretty.
so I like just set it up. Or
Oh,
oh, sorry,
pretty. Oh,
my battery. I know. I'm sorry. Let me see if I
no
can change
worries.
this
You're gonna
really
have to show
quick.
us your messy house if you want to show us.
Oh, it's fine. I don't even care. Okay. Yeah, so I like
Oh,
set
cool.
up journals like this,
Oh,
and
that's so creative.
yeah, so like those are the things that I'm like showing like
And do
as
you
I set
show
it
it
up.
while you set it up? Oh,
Yeah, for the
cool.
part, yeah. And so be pretty vulnerable because a lot of it is like, oh, I'm setting up for my week. So I have to pick up my kids, I have to do the laundry. So those kinds of things, they still are aware of my life.
Yeah.
And so
They like your style. They're learning how you like journal because they can maybe mimic it. And then they're also getting to know you as a person because you're journaling.
yeah,
That's cool.
yeah,
I
yes.
looked at journaling like 10 years ago. I was like, oh, this is so fun. Like, I'm a creative person, but I just feel like life has sucked everything out of me. Like the 9 to 5, the constant grind,
Hmm.
the side hustles, adding a kid to that. Like, I'm just over that. I'm like done hustling. I'm ready to just
Just relax.
work a little less and do this right. So
Yeah.
I like where you're headed with this. And I like that you're like expressing so much creativity through that too.
Mm,
And it's like it's like healthy. Like this is like
yeah.
a good to be on in digital. I'm like telling everyone it's gonna change your life in all the ways you would never dream of. And
Hmm.
it's for the best.
I 100% agree. Has completely changed our lives.
Yeah, already. And like I
Mhm.
see it. It's like I feel, even though like maybe mine aren't, where I am to be, but I already feel like it's happening because of all
Mhm.
the things that I've I've done. So
Yeah, for sure.
should anyone live have any questions? I've seen a few come through. But if you have any questions, let me know because we're nearing the end. We have a few minutes left. Um, and I think we've covered most of the questions, don't you? We kind of discussed over before.
Yeah.
Any last actionable items, takeaways you guys think? I from what I heard from you, I'd say I'm gonna get off this call and go watch the YouTube videos on NW. That's
Mhm.
super interesting to me.
Yeah.
And I check out your YouTube channel because I want to see all the
Mhm.
journaling. I think that'll be fun. What other
Yeah.
do you think people can go away with here? Oh, tell us about your mentorship program. Like, what do you offer and how do you
Yeah.
run that?
So one of the things that I mentioned earlier that I feel like a mistake is that people like quit too. And that was why in my mentorship, I actually offer like but it's more so like we only once a month. Like,
Okay.
so we meet 3 times, but each meeting will kind of do the same thing where I'm going to analyze your Instagram. We're going to go over the actual data that Instagram can provide you and does provide you. And the reason for that is mainly because I feel like a lot of people go and can see that data but don't know how to read it and don't quite
Okay.
understand.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so experience in that. And so that's like the main, I would say, from, and it's not just Instagram. I do the same thing with YouTube and not TikTok yet, but I'm working on it in the background. So
Okay.
hopefully in the next month, I'll kind of, because I don't want to reach just people that are only interested in Instagram. Like I
Yeah.
totally, it's like the biggest people use, but I would love for people who do sign up to venture out and like
Yeah.
definitely try
By
to,
platforms.
if you're scheduled, because I
Yeah.
also know that's a lot, right? Like don't
Yeah.
stretch too thin, but
One
yeah, like
hack I did recently was that if you post a reel and then quickly hit delete and copy to drafts, it downloads a version on your phone. So then you can post it to TikTok without the watermark on it.
oh, nice.
Otherwise, you have to do this whole roundabout download from a different website thing. So that's a
Yeah, cool thing.
the content is key. And TikTok is different, and
Mhm.
it's got a different vibe and a different, like you don't do 5 to 7 seconds, right? It's like somewhere in the middle and not long
Yeah.
form. It's like medium. I don't, so.
Yeah. Yeah, they're all different for sure. But yeah, so a 3 month option, the meeting that I meet with you guys is like is an hour, up to an hour long. It doesn't usually take that long. I've maybe
Is
gone
it a group
45 minutes.
session or
No, it's one
individual?
on one.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, so one. And yeah, I much want to see people succeed. Like that is like my biggest thing. I just think that 3 months is a good time
Yeah.
frame to
Yeah.
really to see and feel certain things, along with, I know this is going to sound probably a little controversial, but I am committed to help someone. I also want to see you be committed to
Yeah.
show up too in this mentorship, right? It's a 3 month commitment from both of us. And I
Yeah.
think that that's really important because, like I said, I think tend to get really drained and then just kind of this isn't working, so I'm gonna stop. And
Yeah.
hopefully the method I provide is actually going to motivate you though too, because you're gonna
I
see
love
those
that.
results and want to going. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I love
that's definitely yeah.
Same. I was starting like a business group and I was going to
Hmm.
make it 8 weeks, but now that you say 3 months, I'm like, that's good because at about 8 weeks, I was ready to give up
Yeah.
a journey. 6 weeks
Yeah.
maybe, but 3 months would be a good time frame. I like that you do that. So
Yeah.
you meet times over the course of three
Hmm.
months and then you kind of different goals, or what do you like assign homework, or do they keep in touch with you?
Yeah. So like full access DMs for sure. They have access to me whenever. And it's pretty much based off of what they're looking for. I try to gear my mentorship solely on the person. I don't like have a size fits
Yeah.
all just because I just don't believe that works in this space.
Yeah.
And so the goals can change. There can be homework depending on like again what you're looking
Yeah.
for. I try to be very specific. And I will also add, because I get this question a lot, the mentorship does not start, like the first month doesn't start until you launch. So
Oh,
like
that's
even
nice.
if it takes you a month to like go through the course, because it
Yeah.
just some doesn't mean you lost a month. You can, and even then, you don't schedule, or I suggest you don't schedule your time with me until you've done it for 3 weeks.
Yeah. Because
So
you
I
really
need
want,
data. Well,
yeah.
and I need
Oh,
data. Like
yeah.
my solely based, not solely, but mainly based on data.
Yeah.
And I can't help you if I don't have any data.
That's
So yeah, those are big key
You
to
really
add.
like pick apart the data and help them see what they're doing well, what they could do better, and make educated
Yeah.
decisions based on data. I love data.
Yes.
Your mentorship
Yeah.
is awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
And how much do you charge? Did you say?
I didn't say. So if you're brand new and you're signing up with DWA, it's just an added 100, so it's 597. Now, and if you're just doing mentorship, it's 97. What did I
Okay.
say? 597? Yeah, 597, 197. My
Okay,
goodness, I'm sorry.
perfect.
Brain over here. I'm like, yeah.
Same. Okay, let's
Yes.
see. We got a couple questions in our Zoom chat here, I think. Let's see. Oh, Madeline's suggestion is that my YouTube channel could be interviewing other digital marketers, and that's exactly what I was thinking. So
That's good.
thank you so much, Chelsea, for being my first. I'm excited to start my YouTube channel and put this up there. That's definitely what I had in mind. And so who knows, Madeline, maybe you're next.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah, do you
Madeline asked, yeah, she says, how did your first sale feel? Amazing. Yeah, it was, I think, also a lot of shock. Like I said, I didn't have, no, my first sale was actually someone I knew. It was my friend Cindy. Yeah, so it was great. I had like, I was because I took a chance. Like I said, not that they say you shouldn't read out people that you know, but it seemed like that's the gear like towards it. I was like,
yeah.
the industry I used to work in. I'm sorry, I talk so much, but and just there's like a point. That's what I mean. But the industry that I worked in, which is the movie industry, a lot of people have been getting laid off for the past couple of years because of writer strike
Same
and
in
things like
tech.
that. So, a lot of it,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I thought like, oh my, this is going to be really hard to reach out to people who are being laid off, but like at the same time, this is changing lives.
Yeah.
So I didn't, again, wasn't sending cold messages or things like that, but I did reach out to people just kind of like, hey, what are you looking for? Like this has changed my life. And I always say this, but it's like you found the cure for cancer and like you want to share with everyone, but you can't, like, or like it's taboo
Or
to. But I was like, it's taboo too. But I just kind of was like, I know, like, I'm not afraid of like people
yeah,
don't do it.
same.
But yeah.
I have posted on my Instagram stories how I like sold it on the plane to the guy next to me. He hasn't bought it yet, but I talked to him about it for 2.5 hours. And then on my way over here to this community space that I'm sitting in, I tried to use a different conference room. I saw this guy and I'm like, oh, where do you work? And he's like, oh, I work for this marketing company. We promote Amazon products in stores. And I was like, oh, I'm in digital
Oh,
marketing. And I told him, and he's like, I need to get into that. I need that. What? I'm going,
yeah.
on the, like, yeah, I'm talking to everyone because it is true. It feels like once you have the knowledge that something like this exists, everybody needs to
Mhm.
know about it. And I can be a little bit
Mhm.
pushy with my family and friends, but I'm like, come on, you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
so it's cool to be
It
a
is.
community. Yeah, I'm so glad we did this. This was fun.
Me too. Thank you so much for having me too.
Absolutely. And we will be posting this on our YouTube channels. Maybe I'll post the live, not sure. It's just talking to you on the computer, so we'll see. But hopefully everyone enjoyed it, and we will see you in the DMs.